I have been a senator. This is the 4th time. He tried to be a senator.
That's
he could
16
not.
years.
Yes. He tried to be senator even at the first time. He couldn't make it. Who is more frustrated? He has ended up being a domestic staff of
He's
Mr.
not a
President.
domestic, he's a special advisor to the president.
Yeah, it's domestic.
That's a senior role. That's not a domestic.
No, even if you're senior, there is senior domestic servant.
Senator Ndume taking Bayo Onanuga to the cleaners. You see, this is where they get it wrong. Must they respond to everyone? The more they respond to everyone, the more they make people be aware, the more they publicize what the person talked about. There is no way in the world everyone will sing your praises. You must have opposition. So instead of attacking the personality, instead of going after the person, calling the person names, why not just focus on what the person said? Reply him based on facts. If he criticized a particular thing that Tinubu did wrong, why not present the facts, exactly how it happened, so that Nigerians can see? Instead, they always attack the individual, like saying that Senator Ndume is frustrated. How is he frustrated? A man that is in his 4th term as a senator. He's not poor by any standard. Going by Nigerian standard, he's among the top 1%. Going by Western standards, he's above middle class. So how in the world is Senator Ndume frustrated? By now, many might be wondering what Senator Ndume said that caused Bayo Onanuga to say he is frustrated. Senator Ndume simply pointed out the huge debt that has been mounting since this administration came to power. By June 2023, Nigeria's total debt stood at 87 trillion naira. As at today, Nigeria now has a humongous 144 trillion debt, an increase of over 57 trillion. So you can see they've been borrowing without anything to show for it. So every reasonable person should be worried. Let's hear Senator Ndume.
Let me first of all say that I'm not against borrowing. Even the greatest countries in the world, America, Japan, China, all are big borrowers. But they borrow for physical, tangible, and accountable projects that you spread and pay over time. But my worry is not even in the borrowing, it's what you borrow for. Let me give you quickly a rundown of what I checked. You see, in June 2023, $500 million was borrowed for women program to scale up what they call NPWPSC. Can you see that? Can Nigerians see it? Where are the women? Then on June 23rd, the same day, $800 million was borrowed to cushion the impact of high petrol prices after fuel subsidy removal. How? Where? Then on September 23rd, 2003, under the same government, $700 million was borrowed again for Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment. Then, on December 23rd, the same thing, $750 million borrowed through what they call renewable energy scale-up. Then June 2024, $1.5 billion was borrowed to support Nigeria's reform for economic stabilization to enable transformation.
That one sounds very spurious, I have to be honest.
Okay, you see? Then in June 24th, $750 million again was borrowed for immediate financial and technical support for efforts to stabilize economy and to scale up support to the poor and most economically at risk.
So you're saying these things have bypassed the National Assembly?
That is it so far. When you total these borrowings, the figure I got here is about $9.45 billion, which translates to about 13 trillion.
In summary, Tinubu has borrowed more than $9 billion from IMF, World Bank, and other financial institutions. And the most heartbreaking part of all this is that you can't say this is the infrastructure where they spend this money, where they invested this humongous amount of money. It's all just things that don't make any sense. Can you imagine how they are throwing $600 million away? $800 million here, $1 billion here. This should put an end to the narrative that Buhari caused all the problems. Yes, Buhari borrowed and printed 25 trillion naira from the central bank. You can't pinpoint any particular project or infrastructure he invested that money in. He also borrowed some billions of dollars from foreign financial institutions. But this man has taken it to another level. $9 billion in under 2 years. So who knows what will happen by 4 years? This is why people must stop blaming foreigners 100% for our problems. Anyone that finds himself in the highest office in the land must be more patriotic than everyone else. That's if there's a yardstick to measure patriotism. If they connive with foreigners to sabotage the country, you must first of all hold them responsible before trying to hold someone that is far away in another country responsible for the same thing. We all know that these foreign financial institutions like to lend us money that won't benefit our economy, money that we cannot use to build our economy to such a level that it will rival their own economies. Yes, but you have to blame people in Nigeria that obtain these loans, these useless loans that we don't see where they invest them in. Instead, they spend it on their flamboyant lifestyles. That's why they always charge at anyone criticizing them. Because if they are spending all these monies very well, they are investing them where Nigerians will benefit, they will be proud to explain to Nigerians how they are spending the money, instead of calling the person a frustrated person. Now, let's compare these individuals to find out who actually wants to turn around the fortunes of his people. Tinubu and Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. Milei started out by driving down the cost of governance. He cut it so low to the extent that inflation started going down. As a matter of fact, foreign financial institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, many of them were against his measures until he started working out. They started singing his praises. Now that things are better in Argentina, Milei requested a $20 billion loan from the IMF and they immediately approved it. So you can imagine what he can build in Argentina with $20 billion. Compare that to what is happening in Nigeria. They've never obtained a loan of $10 billion, not to talk of $20 billion. Besides, you have to qualify for it and you don't need to do what they tell you to do before you qualify. Milei is a huge example. He did what he wanted to do. He didn't devalue their currency. He didn't do exactly what they are doing in Nigeria. He didn't increase the cost of living for his people. But he still qualified for the loan. What this man is doing is actually the right way to go. No one has a monopoly of knowledge. In Nigeria, they implement all they advise them to do, hook, line and sinker, without thinking about the repercussions, without thinking about what it will do to the Nigerian economy. So imagine if they invest $10 billion in the power sector, for instance. That will guarantee that in less than 5 years, Nigeria will have 24-hour reliable electricity supply. Yes, we don't even have much of a problem of power generation. All we need to solve is the distribution network, which are aged, they are obsolete. So next time, instead of blaming foreigners 100% for our problems, start by holding your leaders accountable. If you have a good leader that understands development, like Milei of Argentina, you will see you don't even need to follow their rules. You don't need to plunge your people into absolute poverty. You don't need to devalue your currency to qualify for any loan. No, even China cannot lend Nigeria $20 billion today because they don't have that confidence in our economy. They prefer to lend money in form of construction of a project. Take for instance, they want to build a stadium for you, and that stadium is worth $1 billion. All the major materials that will be used, including rebars, rods, that will be used in constructing the stadium, they will import it from their country. Their countrymen, in fact, the contractor will be a Chinese company. So while they are lending you $1 billion to be repaid whenever they choose, their country is immediately benefiting from the loan. That way, they are better off, even better off than you that is taking that loan from them. Also, if we are managing our resources very well, we don't even need all these loans. We just need to commit to a plan of development. Even if it will take 50 years, all it needs is commitment. Continue investing in all the sectors that you know that will improve Nigeria's economy. With time, everything will materialize. But no, the politicians and Nigerian leaders focus on today. They focus on things that don't matter, material things. They pay themselves humongous salaries, including senators. They don't see the big picture. They don't know that if Nigeria is better off today, or at least on the right path to be better in around 50 years' time, it will increase patriotism among citizens. They will start believing in the country better than ever. People don't actually choose to hate the country, but things like injustice, what they call Nigeria happening to someone, if that happens to anyone, the person will lose it. Despite the fact that he is a citizen, he has nowhere else to run to. But many will do anything within their power to escape the poverty, to escape the massive prison that politicians have built around Nigeria. So this is the reality. We must hold our leaders responsible. We must not fall for their narratives of always insulting people instead of focusing on the subject. Explain to Nigerians how you spent over $9 billion and no one can feel it. All these are despite the fact that they increased the cost of petrol. Remember what they said, that the petrol subsidy money will be invested in other sectors, that it is draining Nigerian resources. Today, where have they invested all these monies? Thanks for watching.